Alvar Acharya Andirmanath Yodigile Sharanam, Acharya Yodigile Sharanam. So, Adiyan is very excited to present about Alvar in several people's lives. I'm sure Alvars have played a significant role in the development of Bhakti. Adiyan has a very large debt of gratitude to pay to all the Alvars because the Divya Prabandham classes, when Adiyan started going to the Divya Prabandham classes, Adiyan was very aloof and not very connected to the Sampradayam at all. It's just a very casual observer, not even applying a small kumkum or anything on forehead or anything of that sort. But very casually started learning Divya Prabandhams with no particular expectation of any sort. But Alvars have given through their vast wisdom. Adiyan has started this journey towards the Sampradayam, and since 2017 till today, everything is owed to the Alvars. Today, what we are going to see is a very special Alvar who was very forthright in his telling. Alvar did not mince any words. Alvar did not hesitate to speak the truth. One of the very an Alvar who is placed on a very high pedestal, Tirumazhisai Azwar. So we will start looking at his life and a very rich life, a very long life, a very rich life. So Alvar is considered to have been born in the month of Thai and under the star of Maham. So Thai Maham is when Tirumazhisai Azwar's Trinakshatram is celebrated. As is very evident from the name, Alvar was born in a place called Tirumazhisai, which is around the Chennai suburbs. It's en route between Chennai and Sriperumbudur, very close to Chennai. Tirumazhisai has a Perumal temple called the Jagannatha Perumal temple, also present there. And that particular temple has a special vaibhavam of Alvar being birthplace. So there is a separate Alvar Samidhi, and Alvar Tirunakshataram is celebrated very jubilantly there. For Tirumazhisai Azwar is one of the we can say one of the rare Alvars who has actually interacted with the other Alvars. Pei Alvar is considered to be Tirumazhisai Azwar's Acharyan, and Tirumazhisai Azwar had a very notable Sishyan by the name of Kanikannan, who also played a role in Alvar's life. And Alvar has done two significant prabandhams. One is called as the Nanmugan Tiruvandadi, and the other one is called as the Tirichandavari. And Alvar is said to have been attained Tirunadu from Tirukkudangai, known as Kumbakonam in modern day. So there are, before jumping into the Alvar's life history, one of the significant things that Swamy Manavala Mamunigal has said about Tirumazhisai Azwar is that it's written in his Upadesha Ratnamalai as Tuyya Madi. Tuyya Madi is what he uses that word to describe Tirumazhisai Azwar, which translates to pure mind or pure intellect. Alvar has Mamunigal says that Alvar has a very pure intellect and he is very crystal clear about what the Shastras say and what the Vedas say. This is because that Tirumazhisai Azwar, without even a shade of doubt, declares that Sriman Narayana is alone is worshipable, and we Sri Vaishnavas must avoid even a tinge of association with Anya Devata. Pillai also explains that this is the level of purity and clarity of thought that Tirumazhisai Azwar establishes Narayana Paratvam. So he declares without even a shadow of doubt that Sriman Narayana is supreme. So there are two significant pasurams that are repeatedly highlighted when we talk about Tirumazhisai Azwar's works, both from the Nanmugan Tiruvandadi, where in the 53rd Pasuram, Alvar declares that Tiruvillat Tevarai Terenin Tevu, which translates to do not worship anyone who is not associated with Sri Mahalakshmi. Tiru is Mahalakshmi Tayar and Tiruvillat Tevarai Terenin Tevu. He very clearly declares do not worship anyone who is not associated with Sri Mahalakshmi. And in the same Nanmugam Tiruvandadi, number 68 Pasuram, you must be remembering, all of us must be remembering this from Saradi Swamy when he declared this on the first day. Tiruvadi Tan Namam Marandum Purandara Mandar is something that Tirumazhisai Azwar has declared. Even if you forget Sriman Narayana's name, don't go to the other. So even if due to some reason you have forgotten the name Sriman Narayana, do not approach others for refuge. So these are two very strong and powerful statements that Tirumazhisai Azwar makes in his works. And Swami Periyavachan Pillai, while talking about Tirumazhisai Azwar, talks about how Mudalalvar, as was very vividly explained by Anand Swami yesterday, talking about the Mudalalvar. Mudalalvar enjoyed Perumal Anubhavam while they were in that small hut. And what is the role played by Tirumazhisai Azwar after Mudalalvar's Anubhavam is that he removes all misconceptions from our minds. It is Periyavachan Pillai describes it as removing the weeds, doubts. He reveals that all the other devatas are all jivatmas and there is only one Paramatma and there is only one control. Sriman Narayana is alone the supreme control. The rest are all jivas. Nampillai also talks about Tirumazhisai Azwar in his work and says that through bhakti, shastra jnanam and Emberuman's divine grace, Tirumazhisai Azwar has realized Narayana Paratma. And out of his own compassion, out of Alvar's own compassion, he talks about this truth in his Pasuram, in his work. And he very clearly says in one of his Pasurams, that is actually speaking, the very first Pasuram that he wrote, he very clearly says how Brahma was created by Sriman Narayana from his Nabhi Kamalam and Rudra, Shiva, was in turn created by Brahma. This is, in fact, the first Pasuram that Alvar has written. So, this is a few of our Purvacharyas who talked about Tirumazhisai Azwar. They have come together to say that Tirumazhisai Azwar's role was in removing the weeds of doubts from our mind and affirming Narayana Paratvam to guide all the Jivatmas to this particular truth. So, what is actually so very special about him? Let's talk about that. As spoken earlier, Tirumazhisai Azwar's avatar sthalam was Tirumazhisai, and in the Tiruchanda Viruttam, thaniyans, it is said that great sages were looking for a place, for a pure place to perform penance. And at this time, they sought the help of Brahma to find such a location, where Brahma pointed them out to Tirumazhisai, where he took out a huge cosmic balance scale. He weighed the entire universe in one place, one of the scale, and he weighed Tirumazhisai on the other scale, and that it found that Tirumazhisai was superior even in comparison to the rest of the universe. So such is the greatness of the place where Tirumazhisai Azwar was born. And Avadarastalam, generally, Avadarastalam of all Alvars and Acharyas is considered to be even greater than Emperuman's Divyadeshan itself, because Alvar's Pasuram is what is guiding us to understand Emperuman's nature. Without the experience that the Alvars have given us, it is very difficult for us to experience Sriman Narayana's grace and divinity. So, so what happens later is that when after all the sages have chosen Tirumazhisai to perform their penance, Bhargava Maharishi performed a great yaga for Sriman Narayana, and due to that he begets a child. His wife gives birth to what is considered to be a child, but turned out that it was just a pindam, a lump of flesh, is all came out of her womb. Due to Perumal's Tiruvalayadal, or what you could call as a divine play, that's all came out, and the sage and the wife, the sage himself is very knowledgeable. Probably abandoned is not the right word to use, but he left it there, all part of Emperuman's Leela. They left it under a bush, and Bhumi Devi Nachiyar, she herself nurtured that particular pindam and transformed it into a very radiant child, and the child started crying. And once the child started crying, Jagannatha Perumal came in the form of Aravamudan of Tirukudamai, which we will explore the connection between Aravamudan and Tirumazhisai Azwar a little later. So he came in the form of Tirukudamai Aravamudan and granted knowledge by himself to Tirumazhisai Azwar. And once Perumal disappeared, Tirumazhisai Azwar started crying, and because he could not bear separation from the Lord. Once a woodcutter and his wife were passing by along that path, they could hear the crying, and they came. They found the baby and were very happy and adopted the child. And but they found that the Alvar remained very detached from worldly pleasures and everything, and was completely immersed in Bhagavad Gunanubhavam. And what happened was they could not really nurture the child themselves. A childless couple were once wandering along the path, and when they saw this particular radiant child, they could not, pass on, and they offered some milk to the child. And once Tirumazhisai Azwar took that offering, they gave a remnant of that milk to the couple. And once the couple accepted that and drank it, they also gave birth to another very virtuous child, who was eventually named as Kanikan. So, at the age of 7, Alvar began practicing Ashtanga Yoga, and in order to realize Parabrahman, and he started studying everything that is there. He did not spare anything. He went to Mayavada path. He went to Nyaya, Shaiva. There is nothing that Alvar spared. He studied everything that is there to be studied. And he, after studying everything and analyzing everything, he concluded that none of them led to the ultimate truth, and he firmly anchored himself to the Sri Vaishnava Siddhantam and concluded that it is the eternal Dharma, and his eternal pursuit of the truth continued for a good 700 years in the Sri Vaishnava Siddhanta. Once Emberman saw that there is someone who is so sincere in his studies and so immersed in the studies. Emberman himself revealed flawless knowledge to Alvar. He showed his divine Swarupam, he showed his auspicious qualities, he showed his divine forms adorned with all the ornaments, he showed him his divine weapons, he showed him his form along with Sri Devi, Bhuma Devi, and Nila Devi. He showed all his Nityasuris. He showed him what Paramapadam looks like. And he showed the nature of samsara, how it is always changing. Alvar could literally see how the Prakriti was changing, how Kala changes, and everything is around him is constantly changing. And Emberman shows him that he is the one who creates, sustains, and dissolves. Either he does it directly or he does it through other devas, through Brahma or Rudra. And thus Alvar received the complete anubhava of supreme reality. He could visually see everything and he could understand what the truth was through practical means. And using this particular knowledge, uh, he reveals, he understands how Brahma was created from Sriman Narayana and how Lord Shiva was created from Brahma. As mentioned, as this also has Vedic backing, where it has Shvetashvatara Upanishad and also Chandogya Brahmana, where these are actually captured, which shows Sriman Narayana's supremacy. Alvar captures this truth, as I have told you before. Alvar shows this truth in his Nanmugan Tiruvandati, where he says, Nanmugane Narayanan Padaithan, Nanmuganum Tanmugamai Shankaranai Tan Padaithan, where he clearly establishes who is supreme. And one particular revealing incident that happens in Alvar's life is that while he is just walking along one day, Lord Shiva and along with his consort Parvati were flying across the sky and their shadow accidentally falls on Alvar. Alvar moves away in the sense that he doesn't want even that refuge from another devata. So Parvati insists that let's go and greet Alvar, where Shiva tells Parvati that Alvar will definitely ignore us. And as expected, when they descended, Alvar did not pay any heed to them. And Shiva asks him, why are you not talking with us? And Alvar says, because you do not have something that you can offer me. And Shiva says, why? Ask me. Let me see if I can give you. And Alvar says, can you give me moksha? And Shiva says, no, only Narayana can do that. And Shiva says, can you delay my death? And Shiva says, no, karma decides your time of death and all that. And then Alvar says, then what? Can you at least thread this needle for me? And Shiva gets upset on hearing that and he opens his third eye. And when this happens, Alvar shows how he has a third eye in his toe, right toe, and a greater fire came out of it. And in order to control the situation, Emberman himself comes down, creates a flood, douses all the fire that is emanating from both of them. And Shiva gets overwhelmed and salutes Sriman Narayana and gives Alvar a name known as Bhaktisara. So that is how Alvar earned his name Bhaktisara, which was granted by Rudra himself. And once, again, another very interesting incident that happens in Alvar's life. Once when he was meditating, one of the divine beings called as Keshav was riding a tiger. and he was unable to cross Alvar and go to the other side due to his immense yogic power. And out of reverence, he got down from the tiger, bowed down to Alvar, and offered a shawl. He saw that Alvar's shawl was torn and patched, and he got down and offered his a new shawl to Alvar, where Alvar said, "I have no need of this." And effortlessly, he created a new beautiful shawl studded with gems and wore it around himself. And the Kecharan was very humbled and offered a diamond necklace. But Alvar showed his Tulasi Mala and showed that it is shining even brighter than the diamond. And the Kecharan bowed down to Alvar and departed. And then there was another incident where a magician arrived with an alchemy stone, and he claimed to Alvar that this stone is capable of turning any metal into gold. Alvar said, "Is that so?" And he just put his finger inside his ear, removed a piece of dirt, and said, "This has the power to do the same." And the magician, in fact, tested it, and it worked. He could, the dirt from Alvar's ear could turn any metal into gold. And he also bowed down to Alvar and left that particular. And Alvar was once deeply meditating in a cave, and when the Mudal Alvars were passing by that path, they noticed how a divine radiation was approaching was emanating out of the cave, and they went inside to investigate and saw that Tirumazhisai Azwar was meditating, and they recognized each other, and they understood they are all three Vaishnavas, and they then Alvar took a small hiatus from his meditation and accompanied the Alvars to Tirumalai, which was the avatar sthalam of Sri Alvar. And once they spent a little time there, Tirumazhisai Azwar went to a place nearby called Tiruvallikeni, and he spent some time in Tiruvallikeni. Once he spent a brief amount of time in Tiruvallikeni, the most interesting part of Alvar's life, which many of you might have already heard, occurred when he went to Tiruvekka in Kanchipuram. So when Alvar went to Tiruvekka, he was joined in Tiruvekka by Kankannan, the child who was born out of his own grace. So Alvar immediately went and visited Tiruvekka, mainly because it was the birthplace of Poigai Alvar, who he had just met. So in Tiruvekka, Alvar spent another 700 years. So one of the most interesting episodes of Alvar's life happens in Tiruvekka, where Alvar and Kanikannan were served by an old lady, and Alvar was very impressed with the old lady's service, and he blessed her with eternal youth. The local king Pallavarayan, upon seeing a beautiful lady, married her, and as time went by, noticed how she was not at all aging, and asked her the secret. When she revealed this particular secret, the king sent for Kanikannan and said, "Bring Alvar, I want the same boon." Kanikannan said, "No, that is not possible. Alvar will not bow down to anyone except Sriman Narayana, so you will not get your wish." So the king got angry at a citizen disobeying his orders and banished Kanikannan. And Kanikannan went to Alvar and said, "I have been banished, so I am leaving Tiruvekka." Alvar says, "If you go, I am coming along with you. I too shall leave this place. And if I am going to leave, Emberman also does not have any work here. So he will also come with me." He went to Tiruvekka Perumal and said, "Kanikannan is leaving, and I am your devoted poet leaving too. So you roll up your Adiseshan and come with us." Emberman did not hesitate at all and instantly got up, rolled Adisesha like we roll our mat, and tucked it under his arm and left. So this is how he got the name Yatottakari, Sonnavannam Seida Perumal, he who acts as instructed. Along with when Perumal left, all auspiciousness left Kanchi, Tiruvekka. Sun did not rise. The king immediately realized what a big mistake he has made. He immediately rushed to the place where Kanikannan was, fell at his feet, and pleaded for Alvar and Perumal to return. Kanikannan went and asked Alvar. Alvar sang to Perumal again. Kanikannan is returning. I am also going to go with him. You, O radiant Lord, lie down again on your Adiseshan. Immediately, without hesitation, again, Emperman got up from that place, returned to Tiruvekka, spread Adiseshan, lied down. This place where Alvar got very, he was very surprised at how Emperman is listening to whatever Alvar said. After spending all those 700 years in Tiruvekka, Alvar started on his journey to Tirukudandai, the place which attracted him the most. Once he went there, while on his way there, in a place called Perumpuliyur, a few brahmanas were performing some recitation, Veda recitation, and Alvar did not want to disturb them, so he quietly went out of that place. But the brahmanas were looking down upon him. Alvar realized this, but he did not want to say anything. And once the Alvar started leaving, the brahmanas realized that they have lost track of where they left, and they were wondering how to resume the recitation. Alvar immediately took a grain of rice, split it, opened it, and pointed to the exact missing verse that appeared inside that rice grain. They immediately understood what kind of a great Vaishnava we are dealing with and sought their forgiveness. There was this person called Perumpuliyar Adigal who recognized Alvar's divinity, and he offered Agrapujai to Tirumazhisai Azwar. Some other priests who were not involved in this incident, they objected to this particular benediction being offered to Alvar. So Alvar did not mind. He did not ask or he did not expect. But Perumpuliyar Adigal was saddened and he wanted to honor, but he went and said, Alvar, the others are not accepting. And in response, Alvar sang a pasuram to reveal Emperman residing in his Antaryam, inside his soul. Emperman appeared within Alvar with his consort, with Garuda and Adisesha. All the priests were astonished to see this feat and humbly worshipped Alvar. Once upon reaching Tirukudandai, Alvar offered Nanmugan Tiruvandadi and Tiruchandra Viritham to Aravamuda Perumal, and in front of Aravamuda Perumal, he sang Kaveri Kudandayul Kirandavar Elindirindu Pes. He requested for the Lord to get up because from his Saina Tirkolam, and requested Perumal to speak with him. And Emperman immediately started rising with him. And Alvar finishes the pasuram saying, Vali Kesani, oh, long live Keshava. And for remaining 2,300 years, sustaining only on liquid diet, milk, Alvar spent all his days in Tirukudandai, and he attained Tirunadu from Tirukudandai. So, very interesting aspect of Aravamudan in Tirukudandai is that since the Aravamuda Perumal listens to listened to what Tirumazhisai Azwar requested of him in order to get up. Even today, if you can go to Tirukudandai to worship Deepan there, you will find that he is not in a fully reclining position. You will find that he is in a little bit of a position where he is waking up from his reclining position. You go next time, kindly observe that you will see Emberman is not in a fully reclining. So what happens is that because of all the work he has dedicated for the growth of Sri Vaishnavism, Alvar is recognized as Tirumazhisai Piran. He is spoken to as Tirumazhisai Piran. And since Emberman listened to what Alvar has said, he is called as Aravamuda Alvan. This happens only in Tirukudandai where Perumal is called as Alvar and Alvar is called as. So this is a humble attempt at conveying what the life history of one of the very well-known Alvar who was not even a little bit hesitant in speaking the truth and wanted to remove all sorts of doubts from the minds of Sri Vaishnava regarding who the Supreme Deity is. If there are any misconceptions or any mistakes, please forgive again. I hope everybody enjoyed the Alvar Anubhava. Srimate Ramanujaya.
Thaniyans, Swamy. It was a very excellent presentation. There did not miss even very small part of interesting part of Alvar's vaibhavam. It was indeed very great pleasure to hear all the 20-25 minutes that have been presented. Very nice. Very nice. Excellent. Anyone else wants to add? Okay. If there are no further discussions.
Adian did use PowerPoint to note down all my presentations.
If David can share that.
I will send
please share it in the group.
Yes.
Now, we will go to the next topic, Divya Prabandham. Yesterday, we listened to the simple commentaries for the first three Podhu thaniyans. Now, we listen the Vyakyanam for the next three Podhu thaniyans. Deepan Swamy will present. Deepan Swamy, there you can start.
Am I audible? So
yes, Swamy.
Alvar Impirmana Jir Tiruvadigalai Sannam. Adiyan's name is Deepan from Singapore. So from our Sarthi Swami's grace, Adiyan got Samashanam with Vanamamali Ramanujir Swami, 31st Pattam. So Adiyan's name that was given by Jir Swami is Diva Prakasan. So actually, sometimes I will start using that too. But just for this, for everyone to know who am I just put it as Deepan. So first, I would like to convey my pranams to all of you Swamis here for this satsang. So please pardon Adiyan's pronunciation because I do not have any knowledge in Sanskritam or anything until I've been involved in the Sampradayam. So Adiyan looks forward to learning more about our Sampradayam and from this sharing as well, this satsang. So Adiyan's discussion today is regarding the three remaining Podhu Thanyangal. So Podhu is in common, thaniyans. So they number at 5. And we have one more, which is praising Ponari Kalji Swami from Vanamamali Mat. And it is recited at the Madam and all related temples and by the Shishyas of the Mat as well. So just a small recap. We have the first Podhu Thaniyan, which was delivered by Periya Perumal himself, praising Manavala Mamunigal, which is the Sri Sailesha Dayapatram Thaniyan. So that is kind of like bringing the Guru Parampara Mala, close, where it starts with Sriman Narayanan and it culminates again after Manavala Mamunigal back with Sriman Narayanan. So it's like a loop, like a mala. So that was the first Thanyan, which is praising our Manavala Mamunigal. And the second in order would be Ramya Jamatra Thanyan, which is actually specific for Vanamamalai Mad, praising Punarikalji, Swami, by Dundaya Yangar Appai, one of the Ashta Dikkajangal of Punarikalji. Punarikalji himself being the foremost Astadhika of the eight disciples of Manavala Mamunikal. So again, these two Tanyans coming one after another, it's something like even Sadi Swami mentioned, it's something like a Naranarayanan kind of an association between the two of them. So that's the flow, the order of these two Tanyans. The third Tanyan would be by Kuratalvan, praising our Guru Paramparai, Lakshminatha Samaramam Tanyan, which praises our lineage, our Guru Parampara lineage, starting all the way from Sriman Narayanan down to Asmatacharyan, as in our Ramanuja Ramanujar Swami. So these are the first three that were discussed yesterday by Rangarajan Swami yesterday. So today we will cover the remaining three Tanyans. So the fourth Tanyan again is delivered by Kuratalvan, this time praising Yemperumanar Ramanujar. So pardon Anyan's pronunciation. Unityam Achudam Pudambuja Yukmarakma Vyamuhatas Tadari Tadati Rani Trinayamene Asmat Gurur Bhagavadasya Taeka Sindoho Ramanujasya Charano Saranam Prapatye. So the meaning would be I surrender upon the lotus feet of Sri Ramanujar, Yemperumanar, Ramanujasya Charano Saranam Prapatye, who is very attached to the golden lotus feet of Sriman Narayanan himself. Yonityam Achudam Padambuja Yukma Rukma. So the golden lotus feet of Sriman Narayanan. And thus he considers everything else as like grass, as insignificant. Even in Tamil, there's a saying, like they consider it as grass, as pull, which is insignificant. So that's the line of Yamuhadas Tadidrani Tranaya Mene. And Asmat Kurur Bhagavadayosyo Daika Sindoho. So he's my Acharya in, and when we come in the sequence, our very own Acharya, who comes from the Guru Parampara lineage of the 74 Simhasanadhipatис as ordained by Emperumanar. So he is an ocean of mercy and all other auspicious qualities. So again, since this was delivered by Kuratalvan, he mentions up to Ramanujar. So we can take it as follow through from him. So this similarity between the third and the fourth Tanyans. The fifth Tanyan would be delivered by Alavandar towards Nammalvar. So Mada Pita Yuvadas Tanya Vibhudi Sarvam Ye Deva Niyamena Madanvinyanam Atyasana Kulapatir Vagalaviramam Srimat Tadangrivilam Pranamami Murtana. So this, the meaning would be I bow down to the lotus feet of Nammalvar, whose lotus feet is like that of our mother, father, child, children, wealth, and all things auspicious. That is everything. It's actually at his lotus feet of Nammalvar. So he is the leader of our Sri Vaishnava community, Prapanajana Kudasthar as we call him, and he's decorated with Magilam flowers. Adyasna Kulapatir Vagla Viramam, Srimat Tadangulam Pranamami Murtana. He is decorated with Magilam flowers and is always glowing radiantly. And the last concluding Tanyan would be by Parasara Bhatta towards all Alvars and Yemperumanar. So it's Budam Sarascha Mahadapaya Bhattanada Sri Bhakti Sara Kulasegra Yogi Vahan Bhaktrangri Renu Parakala Yatindra Mishran Srimat Parankusamunim Pranatosmi Nityam. So this is the meaning of this would be I worship daily, always, Nammalvar along with the other Alvars. Srimat Parankusa Munim. So that is Nammalvar. Pranatosmi Nityam. So along with the other Alvars, Buddha Alvar, Poike Alvar, Pei Alvar, Peri Alvar, Tirumazhisai Azwar, Kulasegra Alvar, Tirupan Alvar, Tondararipuri Alvar, Tirumengi Alvar, and our Jagadguru Empirumana Ramanujar. So this Taniyan is actually Adiyan's favorite in a way, because it gives a lot of visual representation as well as literal. The one thing that was noted was that the Taniyan does not follow the chronological order of the Alvars. Like it doesn't start with Poigai Budat Pei Alvar. Instead, it describes the Avayavam, like it can be taken as describing the Avayavam, parts of Namalvar, who is Avayavi, the whole. So the other Alvars actually make up the parts Avayavam of Namalvar. So, because in the Pasuram, in the Taniyan, we finish off with Srimat Parankusamunim Pranatosmi Nityam. But in the front, we say Budam Saracham Hadavaya Bhattanada. So this Budatalvar is taken as this is the head, Poige and Peyalvar as his both eyes, Periyalvar as his face, Sri Bhaktisara Kulasegara Yogi Vahan. So Bhaktisara, just Keshav Swamy earlier mentioned, Bhaktisara is Tirumazhisai Azwar, the name that is got that he received. Is seen as Namalvar's neck, and then Kulasegara Alvar and Yogi Vahan, which is Tirupan Alvar, as you know, Muni Vahanan, with his Kulasegara and Tirupan Alvar are seen as his two hands, and Bhaktangri Renu, which is Tondarari Puri Alvar, exactly in Tamil and Sanskrit, is seen as his chest, and Parakalan Tiruvangi Alvar is seen as his navel, and Yatindra Mishran. So finally we come to Emperumanar as his lotus feet, which is also in line with this with how we consider Nammalvar's Tiruvadi Nilegal. I actually looked at Sardi Swami's videos as well, and then so normally there's this thing that Sadari or Sri Saragopam, everywhere we go to Perumal temple, will expect that, and we would like to receive that. So the one thing that was noted that they mentioned, that Swami mentioned, was quite interesting, was that Sadari Sri Saragopam is actually only reserved for Perumal and Tayars, because Sri Saragopam is Nammalvar, he is the Tiruvadi Nilegal, while all the other Alvars Tiruvadis, is known as Sri Ramanujam, with the exception of Nammalvar Tiruvadi is known as Madhurakavi Alvar. But even there's an exception. At Alvar Tirunagari, it's Sri Ramanujam, because it's where Emperumanar himself prayed and asked for this kind karyam. And Peyalvar Tiruvadi, again, Keshav Swamy mentioned earlier in the vaibhavam of Tirumazhisai Azwar about how he actually interacted with the Mudal Alvargal. So again here, Peyalvar Tiruvadi is Tirumazhisai Azwar, because he reformed and brought him into the fold. Tirthi Panikondar reformed and brought him into the fold of the Sampradayam. So there's this differences there. And for Acharyas, Manavala Mamunigal's Tiruvadi Nilegal is Ponadiyam Singamalam, which is Ponadi Kaljiyar as is foremost of his 8 Ashtadikka Jangal, which we can see as well in Vanamamalai Divyadesam. It's very nice. And Ramanujar is Mudli Andan, Sri Mudli Andan, with the exception of Tirumalai, which is quite known, very famously known, is Anantalvar, because he was tasked with the kind karyam there of rejuvenating the Divyadesam by Emperumanar himself. So at Tirumalai, it's Anantalvan, his Tiruvadi Nilegal. So with this, I conclude my short presentation. Please do forgive any shortcomings or errors. I would like to learn if there's any errors as well on the part of Adiyan. Alvar Emperumanar, Jir Tiruvadigalai Sanam, Jir Tiruvadigalai Sanam. Swami.
Adiyan Swami. It was very nice, short and crisp presentation. They need not worry about the pronunciation. As and when Devaris keeps reciting the Podhu thaniyans, you'll be able to recite it in much, much better way than what Devaris is presently reciting. So don't feel a bit this thing about that. Please keep reciting so that definitely you'll be able to recite much better. Any other further comments from anybody? Then we move on to the third topic.
Yesterday in Saradi Swami's Upanyasam Srirangam.
Nadamunikal.
Yeah, Nadamunikal. Tiranakshatra Vaibhavam. So yesterday only it was the first time that I heard all other Alvars are considered as Nammalvar's Avayavangal. And interestingly, Deepan Swami today explained what exactly those parts are. So it was a very new learning for me. Grateful for that.
Yeah, it's also
And
quite interesting when I learned about this as well. We have heard here and there that Namalvar is like Prapana Janakudasar, the leader of the Alvars. So the rest of them are his Angams. So it's quite interesting to know about this as well. One thing that Adian had a question from the start was why this order? Why this order of this Podhu Thaniyangal? Which I somewhat got an answer when we discussed yesterday and when Aryan was also looking through to discuss today about why this order. But if any Swami has any clear explanation about why do we have this order for this Podhu Thaniyangal, Aryan would like to learn as well.
Nadeem is not aware of why this order is. Probably the first Thaniyan was done by Perumal himself. Perumal itself, probably that's the first. We can do one thing. We can ask this question to Saradi Swami, and Swami can definitely give the correct answer rather than again trying to give something which may not be a right one. Anybody in the group who can raise it in the question answer session, if anybody of you are there in the group, you can raise it in the Q&A session.
Sure, sir.
Now we'll move to the third. We'll move to the third part, that is Mumukshupadi, Sutram 1 and 2. Seshadri Swami, there we can start Swami. Adiyan.
Adiyan Ramanujadasan. Swami, I have prepared a small presentation. I would like to present that. If you would give a presentation.
Is it a PPT, Swami?
Yes, Swami.
1 second, Swami.
Thank you, Swami. Hope my screen is visible. Yes. Alva Tirugaleshanam, Jia Tirugaleshanam, Acharya Tirugaleshanam, Srimati Ramajayanama. Okay. Adiyan's name is Seshadri Rangan. I got Panchasamskaram recently, I think May 13th, from who is Sonia and his Edigriyati Raja Narayana Ramanujaji Swami. After that, I started with the practice of Sri Vaishnavism. And I'm very new. I don't know Tamil. I'm from Bangalore. So Adiyan requesting, if any mistakes, please forgive and please correct me. With this, I'll start with Mumukshupadi, Stotram 1 and 2. So before starting, we'll have a quick recap of what has happened on yesterday's. Swami has given us very nice recap, introduction, Avatarage. So Bhagavan is mercifully has given his knowledge to everyone. With that knowledge is segregated into two streams. The first stream was Vedam stream, which is coming from Shastram. The main source is again the Vedam. And second stream is the Rahasyatrayam. Rahasyatrayam stream is the second one. So we saw the quick difference between what is Rahasyatrayam and what is Vedam, and the small differences as well. So for the Vedam should be recited only from three varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. So only three varnas, and one should be a male, and one should have gone through Igno Pavitra Dharanam and Brahmapadesham. Usually I think now Brahmapadesham will be from father, and one has to go to Acharya and study the Vedam. With Acharya only we should understand the Vedam. And there are a lot of other restriction of reading and practicing the Vedam, which we saw. And Rajatrayam stream, I think everyone is cool. And everyone has to have a desire to learn that. And so if they have a desire, one should ask to go to Acharya and get initiated. So initiation is very, very important to learn any Rahasya Grantham. So without this, we'll not be able to understand, should not even proceed ahead of reading any Rahasya Grantham. And also we saw Vedam as a combination of soul and body, but Rahasya is only to a Atma. So more than a mind, so rather than the body, because it's individually initiated. So it's only for initiated. And both are Anadi, so it's revealed from Bhagavan again and again, time to time, whenever it is going to like, and again it will Bhagavan will come and recite this through Advas or his devotees. So with this, I'll with the next. So we'll start with the Sutram one. So first Sutram will say Mumukshuku Arya Vendrum Rahasyam Muru. So here we need to understand what is Mumukshuku. So Mumukshuku is for all who are seeking liberation or who are seeking moksham. So for them, Arya Vendrum. So for they have to, the Mukshuku has to know what they have to know. They have to know Rahasyam. So secrets. How many secrets? Again, Pillai Lakacharya says Muru. Mundru. Mundru means three. Three secrets to be known by all the mumukshus who are seeking liberations. So this is very, very mandatory to know all three secrets. So let's understand what are these secrets and the more in detail from one Mamunigal commentary. So Mamunigal says it's not only the mumukshu is not only the person who uh, seek the liberation. He should also have a qualification of desire to like serve Bhagavan eternally. So without only like okay, he wanted to understand only, he wanted to go to the moksham path, he shouldn't learn any like Rahasya Grantham. So it should be the desire to be only to serve Bhagavan eternally. Without serving, it is of no use. So with this, we'll need to understand three more. I mean, all mukshus should understand three more. What we see is an activities or states. So these are one is Swarupam. So Swarupam, Upaya, and Purushartha. So Swarupam, maybe I think in depth we'll go to understand. So Swarupam is, I think it's in the second stotram. Yes, maybe I'll just okay. Okay, it's a true nature of Bhagavan. So sorry, true nature of Bhagavan. That's a true nature of Atma also. So our so Atma's true nature is serve the Bhagavan eternally. So that is our Swarupam. Without that, we are nothing. So that we need to understand. And Upaya is the process of attaining the Bhagavan. So that is the Upayam. The Purushartha is the third one, the ultimate goal, the attaining, the end result. So there, the Swarupam is to understand the Atma's base, the originality of Atma, like serving the Bhagavan eternally. And after understanding, we have to start the process of to attain the Bhagavan. So that is the Upayam. So ultimate end goal is the result of this is the that's called Purushartha. So this three should be known to any mumukshu before starting the Rahasya Grantham. So now we need to start with what are this Mundru Rahasyam, three Rahasyams which Pillai Lokacharya says. So Mamunigal in the commentary says three Rahasya, or Mamunigal also in the commentaries clearly says the three Rahasya. What are these three Rahasyams? One is the Tirumantram. Second one is the Dvaya Mantram, and third one is the Charma Shlokam. So first Tirumantram is given from Narayana Rishi to Nara Rishi. So from Bhagavan to Bhagavan himself. So Bhagavan has taken the incarnation and he has given that Tirumantram. And second, Dvayamaha Mantram is given to Narayana to Lakshmi. So in the so that is the Dvaya Mantra, and the third one is the Charma Shlokam. It is given from Lord Krishna to Arjuna in the Battle of Kurukshetra. So now we need to understand why it is called Rahasyams. So it's a Grantham, right? I mean, why we need to call it's a Rahasyam, secret? Why you need to worship this as secret? Because this Rahasyams will provide the essence of Vedantam. So essence is the kind of a fruit of all the Vedas. So we have four Vedas. So all the four Vedas, it is very vast and it's very strict. I think we understood what is the difference between Vedas and Rahasya Granthams, and there are a lot of restrictions on Vedas reading. So, but this Rahasya Grantham will give the essence of all the Vedantas. That is why it is very secretly worshipped and very secretly known. And that is why Acharya says we should always start with the initiation. Without initiation, we should not even proceed and we will not even understand. So that's why it's called as Rahasyam. So the first sutram says all mukshus should know all the three rahasyams. So the three rahasyams are Tirumantram, Dvayamahamantram, and Charamashlokam. Okay. With this, we'll go with the second sutram. Second sutram says Adil Parthama Rahasyam Tirumantram. So please forgive me for my Tamil. So I don't know the Tamil. So now we understood three rahasya mantrams. So with these three secrets, which one is the foremost, first and foremost, which we need to understand, which we need to learn? So for to that, to answer to that question, the Pillai Lokacharya has given the sutram. Second one says Adil Pratama. The first one foremost, the important one, Rahasya is a secret one. Tirun Mahamantram, that's a Ashtakshari Mahamantram. Ashtakshari Mantram. So this is given by Narayana Rishi to Nara Rishi. Okay. I think it's given on Badrikashramam. It's Swamy has given this details history also, but still. So Manavala Mamunigal gives the commentary like why it is a first and foremost. Tirumantram is cited as first and foremost. Why can't be the other? Why can't be a Dvayamana mantra or why can't be Charmashlokam? So to answer that, Acharya gives multiple examples. With this, we'll try to understand the few over here. So one is it's a Swarupam, I think, which we already understood what is the Swarupam. That reveals the true nature of Atma. So that's a serving Bhagavan. So that is our true nature. And second one, we'll get a clarity. So for all mukshus, we'll get a clarity, like what should be given up and what should be attained or perceived. So we'll get a clarity of this. And third one, we'll need to understand, Acharya will give one more example and says Tirumantram is the foundation of other two Rahasyam also. That we'll see in detail. Okay, first we'll go with the Swarupam. That's the qualities of Atma. So here Mamunigal gives three quality of Atma. So that's a Anyahartha Sheshatvam. Anyahartha Sheshatvam. It means Atma should be totally servant to Bhagavan. So here Sheshatvam, Sheshi and Shesha, there are two things. Sheshi is a master, that's always a Bhagavan. Shesha is a servant, that's a remanded. And we are always totally, our Sarupa itself is the totally serving the Bhagavan. So it should be totally servant to the Bhagavan. Second one will be Ananya Sharanatvam. So Ananya Sharanatvam, like Atma or Mumukshu, anyone who was trying to attain the like Lord Bhagavan, so then they have to go with a complete surrender, the one and only to Bhagavan. So they should not surrender to any other devatas. So now we understood. Keshav Swami was also mentioning during Tirumazhisai Azwar. So even if we forgot the God name, we should not surrender to any devatas. So that is the same thing here. Even Mahamonikal also explains. And third one is Ananya Bhogyatvam. Ananya Bhogyatvam is, so one should always present oneself to be enjoyed by Bhagavan. It's not like we should enjoy ourselves. It should be for the Bhagavan exclusively, not for anyone. So these three qualities of Atma makes up the Swarupam. And second one, like what should be given up and what should be attained or perceived. So in further Sutrams, Pillai Lokacharya will explain, but here in simple, what should be given up is self-centered effort. So whatever is doing for myself, that should be given up. Suppose if I am consulting some home or something, then I should be given up that. It should not be like self-centered. It should be something for the Bhagavan, so serving the Bhagavan only. And what should be attained? What should be perfect, perceived? So it should be the exclusive service for the pleasure of Bhagavan. So to make Bhagavans happy, so we need to do the service. So that is our quality. So this should be, this we should attain. Even the same thing has been explained by Mamunigal also. Now we'll go with the next one, like why Tirunamam. I mean, with this we'll understand the Tirumantram should be the first one, and now second next two will be the second one. Like Tirumantram is the foundation of other two Rahasyam also. So Tirumantram has two parts. One is Om, that's a Pranava Mantram, and second part is Namaha Narayanaya. So that's called Mantra Shesham, the remnant part of Mantra. So Pranavam is elaborately explains the Mantra Shesham, the Omkaram, Pranava Mantram, that explains the Mantra Shesham. So Mantra Shesham is explained in Dvayamaha Mantram, and Dvayamaha Mantram is explained in Sharma Shlokam. There is a link between all three Rahasyams also. So that is why we have to start with the starting, the base. So that is why it's called Tiru Mantram is called as a base of all these Rahasyams. Okay. So first we need to understand Tirumantram, then Dvayamaha Mantram, then Charma Shlokam. Even while reciting also, we should start with Tirumantram, then Dvayamantram and Charma Shlokam only. Because Pranava Mantrams is clearly explained on Mantra Shesham, and Mantra Shesham is explained on Dvayamaha Mantram. It's like next is explaining the previous one. So that is why it's very much important to understand the base. So without base, we'll not be able to proceed ahead, will not even understand. That is why Tirumantram is called as a base for all three. It's a foundation for all three Rahasyams. Okay. Next, we'll try to understand why it is called Tirumantram. Why mantram? So mantram, what is mantram? Like mantram should have some particular definitions. Does Tirumantram also has any definitions? So to answer that, Mamunigal will give like simple definition of mantram. Mantram trayate iti mantram. So mantaram trayate iti mantaraha. So mantram is something like which protects something. Suppose if I am meditating something, so with that mantra should protect us. So there are two kinds of like reciting or meditating of any kind of mantra. That's a Shabda Shakti is one point, and second one is Artha Bodhanam. Shabda Shakti is, suppose I'm learning, I am very good on like Sanskrit or Tamil. I'll just read the shloka or mantram. So that mantram, if I am properly reciting and I'm listening properly, that gives the protect to oneself. And second one, Artha Bodham. Now I don't know, or something like even the normal person also can do this. Artha Bodham, like understand the meaning of that mantra and meditate upon that, the meaning of that particular mantra, and meditate upon that also gives the protection to that particular moksha. So even this also calls as mantra. So that is why here Tirumamam is also called as mantra. I mean, there is one more section to it. We'll try to understand that. So Parashara Bhattar also gives one good Pashara and explains, and maybe we'll just go with the meaning, simple meaning of Swamy. I'll represent this. I think screen sharing got stopped. Yep. So Parashara Bhattar also gives the details to this, like why it is mantram, because here it says how the meanings of each words of Tirumantram brings a clarity of each and every individuals, so that we will be protected, we will be safe, and will be come out of the attachment the material attachment, so that it will reveal our true nature of any Atma. So this gives our protection. So that is why it is called a mantram, Tiru mantram. So there are 6 kind of protections with Parashara, the Bhimanam, and so Dehatma Vibhanam will comes from the Ma Karam. So the third Karam, it says Vidya Trutiyalyam. Trutiya means third one. So Pranava Mantram will have 3 Karams, A, U and Ma. Akara, Ukara and Makara. So the Makara, if we understand properly the Makara of mantra, we will get the clarity like, okay, we are not the bodies, we are Atma. So that in that case, okay, if we are not the body and we are Atma, and what is the our role? So we'll get to know, like if we understand the Makara of it, we'll get to know and we'll come out of this Deha Atma Mibhanam, like I'm not the body, like I'll come out of the body and I'll relate to Atma. And second one, Swatantriyam. Swatantriyam, suppose if we understand the Akaram is the first of Pranav Mantra. If we understand the first of Pranav Mantra, then we'll understand like we are not independent, we are not Swatantra. We are always dependent on Bhagavan. So we will come out of that illusion also. And the third one is Anya Sheshatvam. Anya Sheshatvam, if we understand the second part of Pranav Mantra, Ukara. So if we understand properly, then we will get to know that, okay, we are exclusively subservient of Bhagavan only. So Bhagavan will not the Devatas. So we will come to know, and then we will always surrender to that. Okay. And the fourth one will be Swarakshane Surakshane Swayamnam. So in that Namaha is the second part of Tirumantram. The second part of Namaha Narayanaya is the second part of Tirumantram. The Namaha will protect ourselves. I mean, if we understand properly, then we will get to know that, okay, we cannot protect ourselves. Like we are not, since we are not the owners of the body, so we cannot protect ourselves. That is only Narayana will be protected. He can only protect. So we will come out of that illusion, that Swarakshane will come out of this Swarakshane also. And the fifth one is uh, Bandhu Sangam, Abandhu Sangam. So here, like our relatives, basically relatives. So here we, if we understand the Narayana, in the Tirumantram, the second part, Namaha Narayana, Narayanaya. So Narayana is, if we understand that word properly, then all our relatives will come to know, okay, all our relatives are bodily connected. Then that's not a real, it's an real illusion, it's an attachment to a body. So we'll get to know and we'll come out of that sangam also. So that is the all the relatives connecting, like anyone with materially connected will come out of that, and will understand all these attachments are useless. Only Narayana is the true relative of Atma. So we'll understand that and we come out of that also. And the last one is Vishya Pravanyam. So if we understand Aya, Narayana is the Bandhu which we looked in the previous point, and Aya, if we understand the last part of Tirumantram, we'll get to know, like we'll get to know that we should engage only to the Bhagavan, service to a Bhagavan, not to any worldly activity. So we'll come out of that, like we should not engage in any vishayas which is connected to body. Okay, with this we try to understand the Tirumantram, like Akara, Ukara, Makara is a Pranava Mantram, Namaha Narayanaya is a Mantra Shesham. So we will understood the first part and second part of this in Stotra 1 and 2. With this, I'll end and conclude my thing. Thank you, Srimati Ramanujaya.
Yes, Swami. Yes. The presentation was very nice. Kindly share the presentation
Sure,
in the
Swami.
group also for that, so that others can get benefit of the presentation. Anybody else wants to say something? So before we conclude, let us now decide next week who are all will present and what they are going to present. On session 3, that is on Saturday, in the Azwar session, it is Madhurkavi Azwar. May I know who can present that? Who is volunteering to present that? Madhurkavi Azwar, Vaibhavam,
I can do.
Anand Swamy? Anand Swamy?
Yes, Swami, I will do that.
Then in Tirupallandu, there are 3 thaniyans and 2 pasurams, first 2 pasurams. Totally 5. Tirupallandu, thaniyan, 3 thaniyans and first 2 pasurams. Who can present that?
Keshav.
Keshav. And Mumukshupadi, Suthram 2, 3 and 4.
Adian can present that, Swami. Adian can
Deepan.
present that, Swami. Yeah.
Deepan Swami.
So there's 3 and 4, is it? Sorry, Swami.
2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4.
Swami has completed 2. Sorry.
Yeah.
It is 3 and 4. It is 3 and 4.
Sutram 3 and 4. Okay.
3 and 4. 3 and 4. And on Sunday, Tirupallandu pass from 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 5 pasrams. Then Nammalvar Vaibhavam and Mumukshupadi Sutram 5 and 6. Very limited number of options we have.
Nammalvar I will take up soon.
Anand Swami?
Rangarajan, sir.
Rangarajan. Okay. Tirupallandu and Mumukshupadi.
Mumukshupadi I will take up, Swami.
Seshadri Swami.
Yes, Swami.
Okay. And Tirupallandu?
If required, I can take it up again.
Rangarajan Swami, Devari can take. Rangarajan
yes,
Swami
Swami.
has taken Nammalvar, na?
Yes, Swami.
Okay. Anand Swami?
I can
Tirupallandu.
continue with Tirupallandu also if needed.
You continue with the Keshav Swami?
Yes.
Okay. Now it's on Saturday session, Tirupallandu, Thaniyan and first 2 pasrams, Keshav Swami, Madhurkavi Azwar Vaibhavam, Anand Swami, Mumukshupadi, 3 and 4, Suthram Deepan Swami. Sunday session, pasram 3 to 7, Keshav Swami again, Nammalvar Vaibhavam, Rangarajan Swami, and Mumukshupadi, Seshadri Swami will continue. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yes, Swami.
Yes.
There is nothing
Yes,
more. We can conclude this. The session was really wonderful. All the 3 presentations are really wonderful. Request Swami to Keshav Swami to kindly share the recording in the group
Indeed.
so that and also there is presentation, both the presentations
Indeed.
in the group. Very well done, Swami. Very nicely.
Indeed.
With this, we'll close for the day. The news me. Timite Ramanujaya Namaha, Azwar
Srimati
Acharya,
Ramanujaya.
Embrimana, Jiyatrubhile Charanam, Jiyatrubhile Charanam, Acharya Trubhile Charanam. The news.
Then
Hare.
Then is Swami.